All right, here we have a 2005 Mercedes. I think this is a CL500 is what it actually classifies as, if I'm saying that correctly. It's not an AMG 6.3 liter. But anyway, the customer said for some reason the rear sagged down, and they kind of brought this side with it, because this is a different type of air suspension on these. It's called an Airmatic, and it has a splitter valve in the back, and in the front I think it's the same way if I remember correctly, but I was looking through the description and operation of it, and it says as one side bleeds out, it will kind of take the other side with it. It's not like a dedicated bag or something like that. The Audi has like Mercedes has a smart technology where it will try to, if one bag's losing air, it will try to level the system out for safety reasons and stuff like that. But that side wouldn't come up. I ran a self-test on the system, and I individually brought that side up, which brought this side up level, and I put it at right at 0, and it seemed to be pretty good. Nice ride stance and stuff. And then we moved forward because when I would read the codes, it had a 5350 code for pressure release whenever you'd try to dump the system and then raise the system back up. And on these Mercedes, right in front of the wheel here, behind the plastic cover, there's an air pump in there with valves. And if you check these connectors inside here, you'll find that some of them may not be pushed in all the way. And the connector on the other side of this one, it's right on the other side of it. It goes to this assembly. See where that white can is? And then it comes up in there. There's a connector behind it, and it was actually broken where somebody previously was working on this car. And when they went to go put the connector and stuff back in, you can see how they were probing the wire and stuff, trying to get the wire to, I don't know, try to do some kind of functionality test or something like that. And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with the vehicle. Well, they never plugged, or they broke the connector partially, and the connector actually came off. As soon as I touched the wires for it, it literally fell right out of it. Now go back and clear your codes and run your tests and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden your 5350 pressure release code is gone. Now everything's functioning fine. And then it had a air pressure sensing code, signal code. In the connector that was right next to it, with us messing around and stuff like that, you could see the weather pack seal that's around it. It gets all jammed up and nasty. You could clean it out with a little just electrical cleaner or something like that, and then shoot some silicone spray around that seal and plug it back in. It'll slide right in there nice and easy, re-clear the codes, and all of a sudden the system is working like brand new. It's just simple. It was just a simple issue with whoever was previously working on it, how they were doing their work, how clean they were keeping it and putting everything back together. They just weren't very good about doing it, and were kind of negligent, and there's really nothing wrong with the system at all, actually. And if you end up needing to get this off, there's just a bunch of push tabs, like clip tabs, that you got to kind of put in there and pry out all around. And then there's an 8mm that goes in right here, and then once you get that out, you can just pry this corner. Oh, you can see how somebody previously didn't even put that in there all the way. Let me work on that here in a second. Anyway, the compressor and stuff's right in here, and mainly what becomes of the issue in these CL500s is the connections there, and one of them actually breaks. They're known for that. I know one was like a 5053 or a 5350 code for the dump valve or the pressure relief valve. That was cracked and not plugged in all the way because of people previously doing work. And then the connector right next to it wasn't seating up all the way on the connection, all the way like snapped in, and it just needed to be cleaned out and lubricated with some silicone spray around the outside, and then it snapped right in, and the pressure signal went away. Also, I came back here and I checked the connection. It's a 10mm that holds these on, and I made sure I had no leaks here, and I wasn't leaking at the bags. The bags seemed to be fine, the connection seems to be fine. It was just a hiccup with that valve and the system not wanting to work correctly. The customer quit driving the vehicle for a little bit, and just over time, no matter which way you look at it, air systems are not perfect. You know, there's going to be some leakage there, even if it's minute. Eventually something is going to leak down. They're not completely flawless, faultless systems or whatever, especially something from 2006, and we're in 2023 now. So there's going to be it's expected to be some type of issue there. So with that being said, this is part one.
I'm going to put this vehicle back outside and make sure over the next 2 days it doesn't just sag down. Maybe tomorrow I come out if it's still there, or the next day if it's still there and it's still aired up and it hasn't lost a ton of air pressure or anything like that. Something has to be expected with a vehicle it's damn near 20 years old. So, you know, it is what it is. Unless you want to get the dumping money and putting bags and stuff into it at that point, it's really not worth it. So we got the vehicle done, got it put back together. Everything's functioning fine, whereas it has been to other shops and they were not successful. It did come here and I diagnosed it. Again, I'm volunteering my time here at this independent shop, and I'm helping my buddy run the place kind of while I'm down. I'm not accepting pay for any of this. I'm just doing it specifically for YouTube content and keep myself busy during the day. I come here, I diagnose a few vehicles, I shoot a few videos or something like that, and then I just go home. And that's it. I'm relaxing right now because I'm recovering from a work-related injury before, and again, not accepting any pay, and all I'm doing is just diagnosing. That's my whole function here, is just diagnosing. That's where it lacks, and that's why I'm here to help him keep things moving, and that's what I specialize in. You all be blessed. Take care. This is part 1, and I'll have an update here in a couple days for you. So part 2. So I just looked it up to stand politically corrected for those of you out there that are going to correct me, and it's a CLS 500. 5.5 liter. Sounds pretty good. It's not slow by any means, but it's also not very fast either. I took it out just now, kind of hit some rough areas, got in it, braked hard, to see if the suspension would act up or anything like that. Nothing funky, nothing rattling, nothing going on. It was just simply, whoever worked on it before was just lacking the structure to keep everything together and treat the vehicle as you're repairing it if it's your own, that you want it to go back together nice and clean and just caring, I guess, in general. I guess whoever worked on it before really didn't, but you get a lot of that, especially when you're working with a lot of shade tree guys and stuff, or guys that just trying to make a buck but really don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to get by. This type of stuff you run into instead of coming to professionals like us. So it is what it is. Y'all take care. There will be a part 2.